I've just finished servicing and repairing this Sunstar musical pencil sharpener. It's a very unusual design. It's by the Sunstar Stationery Company Limited, which I believe is a Japanese company that was founded in the 1950s. So let's have a look at how it works. First, we'll go around to the back here, and you can see there's a wind up here. We'll put a couple of turns on that just to make sure that the musical movement will work. And here's our patient. This pencil sharpener has a self-feeding feature to it, and when you pull it out, the music box will start to play. Can you hear it? I do not recognize that tune, but then I'm a classic rock guy, so. And you put your pencil in and it locks it in place. You hold the sharpener, give it half a dozen turns, you can see the shavings falling. And it kind of stops having resistance and there's no more shavings, so the pencil must be done. Sure is, it looks good. Now this has an interesting feature to it. When you turn the crank on this, it will release the self-feeding mechanism to close down. And when it does, the music box shuts off. So let's have a closer look at how this thing works. We'll take the plastic box out. This is styrene. I don't think it came into common use until about 1960 or so. So I placed this sharpener in the 60s. But if you look up under here, it's got some interesting features you don't see. This is the music box back here, and there's this little actuator, and when you pull out the self-feeder, the music box will start to run. And this is a little spring-loaded pin, and it goes into the music box, and it causes it to start, and then when you put the self-feeder back in, it moves this little pin over, and that stops the music box. So let's have a look at what it looks like with the music box cover off. I'll have to take off the winder. And there are two screws in the back. And we can pull the box out now. This is the same type of a music mechanism that you might see in a little jewelry box or something. It's by the Sankyo Company of Japan. Nicely made, but inexpensive. It wouldn't run when I got the clock, and I oiled all the pivots on it. But the one that brought it to life is this one. Right here, there's a little worm gear, and that thing must have been pretty dry. As soon as I put a little drop of oil on it, the whole thing came back to life. Had a bunch of sawdust in it too. Cleaned all that out of there, fired right up. You can hear it playing its tune right now. But listen when I put it on the table. Isn't it amazing how that amplifies the sound of it? So there's the little music movement put back in without the box that protects it from the chips. And so you can see that this little wire that comes through comes around and it touches, this is the little butterfly governor here. So when you move the self-feeder out, it releases the little butterfly and the box will start to play. And when you're done sharpening, it comes through, closes, and that little wire comes in and it touches the butterfly and turns off the movement. So pretty typical for how like a little music box, jewelry box might work, but I've never seen this on a pencil sharpener before. And there's one other feature I'd like to share that's unique to this sharpener. If you take the cutter out, you can see it's got a single helix cutter. So this cutter frame has this little projection on it. I've never seen that on a sharpener, and it took me a few minutes to figure out what that's for. And what it does is it releases the self-feeding mechanism here. If you look at the self-feeder and you pull it out, it cocks out. And so to get it to release, there's a lever inside here, and you have to push that lever. So when the cutter is in there and you lock it in place, this little projection comes along here and it touches that lever back there, and that's what releases the self-feeder. Pretty interesting. I don't know much about the Sharpener as far as its history. There's almost no information out there about it. The Sunstar company, I think, is a Japanese concern that was formed in 1959, and they were really into office products. And I think they've morphed into a lot of other stuff over the years. But looking at some of the information on the Sharpener here, it says SS63-113. So I'm assuming that that's Sunstar 63. I'm guessing that's a date code, 1963. And it seems about right for the styling of this thing. And there's some other information. MDL, I would assume that means Model E-1. So this is a Model E-1 Sunstar Sharpener. If you have any information to add to this, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd leave a comment. A nice addition to the museum. Thanks for watching.